But we're going to get started just with some really quick opening comments here. So we have every Friday we've been doing these social hours, and sometimes we keep them within our network here at Macro Millionaire, and other times we want to invite people out of the network. So with this is for anyone that wanted to come in. And I wanted to hold this because as entrepreneurs, we tend to be teachers, we tend to be givers, and we tend to burn out. It's like teachers have the highest joy level, but they also one of the highest burnout rates. And I see this kind of happening as I evolve myself in business. So when I had the opportunity to meet tonight's guest speaker several years back, I mean, this guy was like just a giver. Anytime I saw him, it's like, I mean, this guy is like world renowned, didn't know me from anyone. And literally we're at like, I had the blessing to be at lunch with him with a few other business leaders, and he's just pouring value into me. And, you know, I was nobody from him, and I had to know. So one day I asked him, I said, hey, how do you give so much? And just not like burn out, you know? And he's like, well, you know, I do take a lot of Axio, which is an energy supplement. He was joking. But what he said was pretty profound. And he says, well, you know, Jesse, my project last year was to live in appreciation, not expectation. And first of all, I'm like, wow, that's awesome, you know? But I'm like, your project last year, you know, what do you mean last year? And he's like, yeah, it took me a year of working on myself, working on living in appreciation over expectation. It wasn't like, cool, I just told you a platitude, now you're all ready to rock and roll and you're never gonna burn out and you're gonna be the coach of the year. And to me, what that meant is I wasn't dealing with someone who just knew who he was today. I was dealing with someone who is molding himself into the person that produces value for tomorrow. Okay, so it's kind of like, what do I need? What systems and processes or what mindset trainings do I need to start evolving to be the leader that my clients, that the world needs me to be tomorrow? And that forward thinking is the reason that I'm so blessed to have tonight's speaker on the call. And I asked Erica, I go, hey, do you think Taylor would ever come and do a training for us? And I was joking because I'm like, my mind was like, there's no way. And she asked him, and when she said yes, you know, he's going to give up some of his time and be with you guys and talk to the team, I was like, I was floored. So Taylor, I want to thank you in advance for joining us today. And thank you in advance for just being the human being that you are. And I'm going to let you take it from here, brother.
Dude, it is my pleasure. Can you guys hear me okay? Awesome. Well, hey, everyone, it is such an honor to be chatting with you this evening, and I appreciate you giving up. And I will try not to take more than 45 minutes of your time. But you guys, most of my life has been spent in a entrepreneur networking household. And from a very early age, my father owned a television network, networking television network throughout the 90s. That was all predicated upon personal development. So I grew up with Jim Rohn, Les Brown, Mark Victor Hansen, Darren Hardy, Zig Ziglar, Harvey McKay. They were my friends growing up. I went every day after school to this recording studio and they would be there. So I just a very blessed childhood. And then throughout the years in my professional career, I've been able to be surrounded by Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, all these, you know, influential minds. And I don't say that to impress you. It's and everyone always says that quote. I hate the quote, but everyone always says, I don't say that to impress you. I say it to impress upon you. But the reality is I do want you guys to know that these words and what I'm going to give you guys tonight is a collection of everything I've been able to take from some of the brightest minds I've been able to spend my time around. And I want to give it to you guys. And it develops into this message, like Jesse was talking about. There are takers in this world, there are givers in this world, and there are matchers in this world. And I hope you guys, if you don't want to take notes, I came with about 2 pages worth of notes that I want to give you guys tonight. And so hopefully there's going to be some good value in this. And I do want to go through it pretty quickly. I want to start with posture. I want to start with how important posture is. An entrepreneur, as a networker, every day you are going out, you are your brand. And posture is a lot more than physique. It's a lot more than the clothes that you wear. It's a lot more than what you look like on the outside. Your posture is your social media presence. If I went to your Facebook wall right now, This is a great study. Go back 1 year on your own Facebook profile and start scrolling. And I want you to do me a favor and ask yourself one question. Would I, and legitimately ask yourself this, would I follow me? Would I follow me? Am I bringing enough value to the space that's not cheesy and always asking for something from someone? Am I just bringing generic good value? Am I bringing positivity to the space? Or am I bringing drama to the space? Am I bringing negativity to the space? You ask yourself very serious questions, because that is what builds your brand. Number two, day to day. Your posture day to day. Every time you step outside of your house, you are branding yourself one way or the other with every person you come in contact with. And what I want to leave you with on the day-to-day interaction is everyone you come in contact with is worth bringing value to. Every single person. Another thing is on the phone. A lot of you guys might spend a lot of your time, especially in the current situation we're in economically with the pandemic going on and all the things, you might be spending a lot of the time on the phone. Are you happy when you're on the phone? Are you getting on the phone and is it just a rushed phone call? Some of my great suggestions I give people are, do me a favor and go stare at a beautiful picture of your children right before you make a phone call. Or go watch a really touching, happy video that brings joy to your life right before you get on that phone call. I guarantee you, go listen to Les Brown for 10 minutes before you get on a phone call. And get your mindset right. Because if your mindset's not right when you go out into the world, if your mindset's not right when you go out and start making these phone calls, if your mindset's not right when you go out and start posting on social media, that is going to start shaping your brand. And it's going to be what people start to think about you one way or the other. So understand that your posture is incredibly important when it comes to networking, when it comes to entrepreneurship, because ultimately we don't discredit anybody. It doesn't matter what you're doing in the entrepreneurial world. No one is discredited out of what you're doing. Everyone can find value. I mean, whether it's a nutritional platform and it's coaching, or it's network marketing, or it's whatever you're doing in entrepreneurship, your goal is to bring value to the masses. The only way you can bring value to the masses is by becoming a person of value. Now, I want to ask you a very important question. When it comes to your posture, are you only turned on when your expectations are being met? A lot of people find themselves in a state where their expectation, after they get a yes from someone, the next 3 calls are like, woo, woo, let's go. They're on fire. But then they get 3 no's in a row and their posture turns to, when their expectations aren't being met, their posture shifts. When you're sitting down with a prospect, this is for a little bit later, but when you're sitting down with a prospect, does your posture change when they decline your offer? And if so, how? These are questions you need to be asking yourself when you're sitting down with people. It's very important to ask yourself all the time, am I only turned on when I'm getting what I'm looking for? Or am I turned on when I'm able to bring value to others? Another quote I want to give you is, bring more value than they could ever pay for. Find a way, no matter what it is that you're doing, to bring more value to the people in your space than they could ever pay you for. If you do, the chances of you building a network that will be rock solid with loyalty is very, very high. So the next thing I want to get into is, and this goes down to, Jesse talked on it a little bit. Tony Robbins gave me the best quote, and I did apply it. It took me over a year of applying this in my life, but I sat down with Tony Robbins and I asked him, I said, what is the best piece of advice that you could give me that would change my life, and not only change my life, but could potentially change the life of everyone I come in contact with if they chose to apply it? And he sat down and it was a long conversation, but the gist of it was, Taylor, if you can find a way to trade your expectations for appreciation, your entire life will change overnight. He said, what people don't understand is that 99% of this planet lives 99% of their existence built in expectation. And what a falsity when 99% of expectations are never met in reality. How does that make any logical sense? So he said, why not instead choose to and always live in appreciation. When it comes to your relationship with your spouse, when it comes to your children, when it comes to your friend group, and when it comes to your work that you do, when it comes to every person you come in contact with on this planet. What if you removed the expectation and you replaced it with appreciation? Instead of getting frustrated with traffic, be blessed that something was put in your way that could have potentially stopped you from harm's way. It's just little things. I mean, little things that throughout the day, you're going to find yourself going, man, I expected that. Man, I really thought that, you know, my husband was going to mow the lawn today. You know, I mean, find something to be appreciative for in that space. Maybe something else got done instead of the one thing that you were expecting to get done. And especially within business. The one thing that, and we're going to get into this, this is important. I got to go over it. Expectations. Whose goals are being met? Yours or theirs? With the people that you're sitting down with and that you're working with, whose goals are being met? A lot of the times what I see is that this initial care for your prospect or your new person's goal is paramount. Oh my gosh, let's sit down, let's goal plan, let's put together a 6-month, 12-month plan. Now, this is where it gets tricky. That person comes in and starts to exceed their track line, and they meet their goals in less time. What is the first thing that you do as a leader most of the time? And this is nothing wrong, but this is where we want to shift mindset, because this is a taker's mentality. Is you go, this is my hot person. This is the person that's going to be leading everything. This is my firecracker. I got to pour out. They got to change their goal. Their goal could be so much bigger. When Jesse's goal might have been to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and he got there. So instead of creating a plan to help him contain that, help him to create a retention plan where it stays that way until it gets to a point where he decides on his own that he wants to expand his goal, that you're not coming to him right off the bat going, hey, you've been amazing. Now we got to get you to the next step. Now you got to get to the next step. Now you got to get to the next step. They're like, whoa, I just did what I said I was going to do. And now it's like, I got to do all this other stuff. So I ask people all the time, whose goals are being met? Yours or theirs? And just because they went fast does not mean that they want more than what they've got or what they wanted from the beginning. You have to understand that most people's side income is $500 to $700 a month. You are working to subsidize an Uber driver or an Airbnb or someone. I mean, you're bringing coaching to people's lives and you're looking to help to bring them healthier. I mean, getting them on a plan. There are so many different ways that you can look at this, but at the end of the day, it needs to be more about them in all ways. Everyone's heard the quote before, most sales happen between the 8th and the 13th follow-up. Everyone's heard it before. And I always tell people that in networking, we're not in sales. We're not selling anything. In the same way, if you're coaching, I don't really believe that you're selling something. You're bringing value to the space. I mean, you're selling not really yourself and your brand and your value, your trust. That takes time. So instead of 8 to 13 follow-ups, think of it more as 8 to 13 conversations. I was having a conversation with my father right before this, and I was talking to him a little bit about my plan for this call. If you would like to look at my father, he's a best-selling author. His name is Worre. He's written a book called Go Pro, The 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. Has brought unbelievable value to the space, but most of what I've learned has come through his tutelage, through me being able to mentor and study through the people that he's brought to the table. But he said, yeah, he's like, at the end of the day, 8 to 13 is a great number. It's definitely not 1. And I thought that was a great point, because how many times do we find ourselves having one great conversation with a new person and then believing like that was enough for us to be able to make our ask of them? I think that a lot of the times we need to slow that down. We're putting the cart before the horse far too often. I think that building relationships and becoming a person of trust is paramount, because in a networking world, you already have the cards stacked against you. As a giver, people are cautious of givers. If you walked up to a person in Starbucks and just tried to strike up you were super friendly and had a conversation with them, about 3 minutes in, they're going to be like, okay, do you want to sell me something? Like, do you want something? Like, it's very rare to just be a person of value. Think about that. Think about what kind of light you can be in the world when you don't have a pitch at the end of your nice conversation, when you don't have some taker's mentality and some ask at the end of a really nice, great conversation, when it can just be that. And hey, if there's ever anything I can do to bring value to your life, please reach out and let me know. I'm more than happy. You know, for the coaches on this call, I mean, you are constantly going out into the world, whether it's Starbucks or you're going to the grocery store. I mean, every person you come in contact with, you have the ability to drop a little bit of knowledge on them. How hard is it to see someone buying something horrible in a grocery store and walk up to them and say, hey, I don't know if you know this, but I see that you have some kids with you. And I mean, no disrespect whatsoever. If it's a budgetary concern, I totally get it. But just so you know, there's something literally right next to this that has way better nutritional value. I'm a professional nutritional health coach, and I would love to be able to just give you some free value based on what you're giving to your children right now. And just honestly, that's it. People overhear these things, you guys. What does it take for the bodybuilder next in the row over to hear you give that free value and come over and go, bro, that was insane. Like, that was one of the nicest things I've ever heard. Like, I wish I would have seen it, because I think the same things. Like, what do you coach on? What do you train on? What do you talk about? It's that simple, where you can just be in that giver's mindset every time you go out into the world. And so, but there is a caveat to being a giver, and that's what we're going to get into now. It's time to ask yourself, you guys, a very serious question. And that is, what do I want to be remembered as? When I'm no longer here, and believe me, when I say we only have one life, we only get one go round on this planet, and tomorrow is not promised. What do I want to be remembered as? Do I want to be remembered as a taker? Not to say that anyone's ever going to say that at your funeral, but do you want to be the one that everyone remembers as every time Taylor called, he was asking for something else. And then every time we called him for a favor or something, he was nowhere to be found. Is that what you want to be remembered as? The asking family member that every holiday you're like, hey, who's ready to join? Who's ready to come on? It's simple, you guys. Or do you want to be looked at as a giver? And again, a giver, there's not a lot wrong with being a giver, except for the fact that a lot of givers, I find them asking and saying a lot of this. I constantly hear givers saying, and if you ever find yourself saying these things, you're a giver, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we can just work into some few different things that can make a profound difference. But if you find yourself consistently saying, I'm such a good person, why can't I catch a break? Karma never blesses me. I give, and nothing, I never get it in return. When is it my time? If you find yourself saying these things, then you're going to be in that giver's mentality. A person that, and understand that there's multiple variations of givers, but the giver that finds themselves at the end of the day feeling like they are shorted. That is, I don't want anyone on this call to ever end a day feeling shorted. I want you to be able to pour value into your network. But I want you guys to work into being matchers. I think being a matcher is one of the most beautiful things a person can find themselves being, honestly. A person that recognizes people exactly where they're at so that you can match their input with proper expectations and proper goal setting. You need to be able to recognize every person that comes into your place for the 30% that they might bring, to the 20%, to the 0% that they might bring. Because they bring zero value to your life now does not mean that a few years from now they might not. So does that mean that you just consistently give and you do the conversations with them for an hour every week knowing that? No. They get put into a box where once a month you can reach out to them very quickly and just give them a quick progress report on how you're doing. Just, hey, wanted to let you know how things are going. I know the last time you talked, you said you weren't really interested, but it's been a crazy month for me. And honestly, things are really starting to pick up. It's getting a little it's getting a little nuts. And I just wanted to reach out to you one more time and just see if you had reconsidered, see if this was maybe a better time for you. It's really, and it's all a matter of posture. It's all a matter of, hey, I don't want to bug you again, but just wanted to see if maybe you were interested in it. But man, things are going amazing. I just had a blow up month. Check in with you one more time. Are you sure? You sure you don't want to check? This is, I mean, we're having a lot of fun. The ability to be an entrepreneur and do what we do, work from home, this is really enjoyable. This is really special. And on top of it, there is no better form of entrepreneurship than doing what we do. Because what we do, the only way that we get paid in this space is by bringing value. We are completely restricted and predicated. Our paycheck is predicated upon the value that we bring to the space. It's not predicated on the time. It's not predicated on the amount of calls that we make, the amount of times we get frustrated, the amount of early mornings we get up. It doesn't care about that. It gets cared. It's the most pure form of entrepreneurship because you get paid strictly for the value. And that is what a lot of you guys need to get to, is realizing that value takes time. That the people that you see come in and just blow it up right away, they are not overnight successes. Everyone has said it before. Sometimes it takes 10 years to have 1 year that will change your life. It takes 10 years of hard work, 10 years of putting in the time, building the relationships, giving the free content, being a person of value in your space when you're not asking for anything in return because it wasn't appropriate time at that time. But if it's worth it for you to be that person that drops that giant boulder into the ocean that sends ripples that go for miles, that is what we are here to do. I'm not here to drop a pebble in a stream, you guys. That's not my purpose on this planet. I'm here to drop boulders from the sky into the ocean. I want tidal waves of ripples going out from the impact that I leave on this planet. And I know that the only way it's going to come is if I care more about the people I am communicating with and the people I am interacting with on a daily basis more than I care about myself. More than I care about what it is that I might be selling. When you find yourself in that space, you become untouchable. You become, like my father says, you become the rock in the river. You are unmovable, unshakable, untouchable. Water flows around you. I want to, where am I at with time here? I got about 10, 15 minutes here. Honestly, you guys, I really want to get into a transparent topic for me. This was some habits that I did to trade my expectations for appreciation. And this is important. This is a big one, you guys. I realized that it was really hard when I started studying this and started doing this. I realized it was really hard. I saw greatness in everyone I came in contact with, but speaking it into existence was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. You see greatness in everybody. See greatness in the mother that's taking care of her children, the single mom, the grocery store. You see, you know, the fireman or the army guy, veteran that's walking the halls in the grocery store, at the gas station. You see reasons to be grateful and to be able to speak greatness into people all day, every day. Social media, you see it everywhere. And for whatever reason, I found that it was hard to just do it. It was easy to see it. So I came up with a practice, and I'll tell you guys, it was one of the most unbelievable practices, and it's really allowed me to get to where I am today. Whatever a family looks like for you, my family is big and vast, and I have a lot of family members extended. I have 12 aunts and uncles. I have, you know, over 60, 70 different cousins. I've got, you know, I've got a big family on both sides, my mother and father. And I decided that once a month for 12 months straight, I was going to call every single member of my family, immediate and extended, every single one, once a month. The only purpose of that phone call was to call them and tell them that I loved them and that they mattered to me in this planet, that they brought value into my life just by being a family member of mine. I was so proud of the work that they were doing in this world, whatever it was. And honestly, just called them to tell them that they mattered to me. I did that about 70 to 100 phone calls a month for 12 months straight. And I promise you guys, I don't know what family looks like. I said, I don't know what family looks like for you. If you have a big family or your family is just a large group of incredible friends that you've had for a long time, I can't speak to that for you. But whatever that looks like for you, I would find a way to make a concerted effort going forward to call everyone in your circle that you consider someone that you love. Every one of them. Once a month for 12 months with the sole intention of all you want to do is call to speak greatness into them. I'll tell you guys, it was one of the most beautiful practices I'd ever come up with in my life, because honestly, the first 3 months, I got emotional with almost every phone call. My Aunt Sarah, 2 months in, I called her, and I mean, I was telling my Aunt Sarah, a person who is unbelievable. She is the cul-de-sac mom that, I mean, my Aunt Sarah and my Uncle Jonathan, they adopted a little boy from Guatemala, my cousin Peter. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful little boy. But he is just amazing. And she's the cul-de-sac mom, friends with everyone, does all the PTA stuff. She's at every high school function for all the hockey games. She's got the big signs for everything. And all I did was call her just to say, I just am so grateful that you're my aunt. I just think that you're so amazing. And the work that you do with your children, all of these different things, I'm just proud to be your nephew. And I just want you to know that I see it. And when I got done, she was crying. And a person that I thought probably heard nice things about her all the time, crying and saying, Taylor, what you just said to me, no one in my life has ever said before. No one has ever said something like that to me before. No one has ever said something that kind and that loving to me in my entire life. And it really showed me that the people even closest to you that you believe are loved and you believe are valued and you believe might have never heard, just because you've felt it and you've thought it, they might have never heard the words before. And I promise you, you will not know how it became like a drug for me. I would go out into the world. I mean, I go out into the world now and it's just like, it would be fun for you guys just to be able to come shadow me for 5-10 minutes and just be able to walk around a grocery store, because all I want to do is bring value to people's lives. I mean, to give you guys an understanding of what I do, the program that I represent for the company that I work for, which is LifeVantage, the program that I represent has brought in the last 2 years, over $40 million in revenue to a publicly traded company. What we do is attract high-level networkers. That's what we do. And so all I do is spend my time with people every day that bring immense value when it comes to networking. So all I'm telling you guys is I have seen it work at every level. And the people that win are the people that are genuinely able to remove the expectation and replace it with an appreciation. Find a way to become a matcher in all ways in your life. Match the efforts of those that come in your space. Because I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, it's just like, I see it really simply. Again, we only have one life to live on this planet, and I want to give as much as I can while I'm here. My father would always say, your success in this life will be directly represented off of the size of the problems that you're able to solve on this planet. Your success will be completely predicated upon the size of the problems that you're able to solve. The more problems you can solve, the more successful you're going to be, whatever it might look for you. And so in closing, you guys, I just want you to know that this networking thing really works. And it works all the time when your mindset is in the right space. When you're attacking every day with the right posture. When you're going out into the space looking to be a person of value in social media, in your day-to-day life, on every phone call that you get on. And then when you get people that are interested, you make sure that it's about them. You want people to stick around longer. You want people to stay on longer. Bring more value than they could ever pay you for. Do you know what value looks like for most people? I don't mean to be crass or curse, but it means you give a shit about them, you guys. It's not anything more than that. You look at them as a person and not a dollar sign. You look at them as, oh, I don't need your auto ship. I need your life because I want to make it better. I don't need your monthly subscription. I need your value, your life. Let me bring value to you. Get that. It's literally a complete 180 mind shift. And if you can do that, you will completely change your life. You will completely change the lives of everyone you come in contact with. And they will stop looking at you as someone with that they have to hold at arm's length because they're always worried about what's going to come next with the pitch. They're always worried about what's going to come next with the ask. And they're going to start to look at you for the value that you bring. And they're going to start coming to you saying, hey, heard you had a program. Heard you had something that I would be interested in. Heard you had some products that I might want to try out. Heard you had this, that, or the other. How nice would it be to flip your funnel on its end and have people coming to you with interest instead of you having to knock down doors all day, every day? It can happen, you guys. It can happen. We are in a place right now where more people are hurting than ever. 30 million people filing for unemployment in the United States alone. These are no joke times. And in times of no joke pandemic seriousness, entrepreneurship flourishes. We are in a time where the whole world is looking for income. I have a friend that hasn't gotten their unemployment check in 10 weeks. Zero income coming in. Thank God she has an entrepreneurship business, but her career laid off, gone, 10 weeks without a check. These people are hurting out there, and we have a solution. But you can't put the cart before the horse with the solution. You got to become the person of value in their life before they're ever going to be willing to come to you looking for a solution. But man, I tell you, if you become the person of value, you're the person they turn to every time they need nutritional advice. You're the person they turn to every time they're trying to do a workout at home and they're looking for a little quick spot. And am I doing the right posture? Am I doing this? Am I doing this right? You're always there for them. And then 6, 7, 8 months from now, they're like, hey, I'm ready to take this serious. I'm ready to take this to the next level. I wasn't ready 6, 7, 8 months ago. I was literally just getting my life back into this place where I wanted to take my health seriously. Now I'm ready. You were the person that cared about me every step of the way when I was bringing zero value to you. You cared about me. I wouldn't join a single other person than you. Those are the networks. Those are the valuable relationships that you need to be working on creating. And yes, it might take 6, 7 months now for you to start now if you haven't been doing that. But is it worth it? Is it worth it to start building the relationships now so that you have an endless funnel a year from now that just doesn't stop? Because you and your business is all based on referrals. You get success stories, you're getting more referrals. You get more success stories, you're getting more referrals. That's what it's all about. So that is all I got for you tonight, you guys. I'm going to lose my voice, and I got a call with Australia and New Zealand after this, so I got to save what I got left. But I just appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you giving me your time and your attention. I hope this brought value to you. I hope this was of some value. I really hope it does. I hope it opens up your mind to a new way of thinking. I hope it opens up your heart to a new way of thinking. And you realize that you got greatness in you. We were all put on this planet to do big things. Again, don't drop a pebble in a stream, you guys. Let's start dropping boulders. You know what I mean? Jesse, Erica, I appreciate you guys more than you know. I am just, it's such an honor to not even just be locked arms with you on the business side of things, but to be able to call you guys friends. The work that you have put in to creating the network that you have created is just unbelievable in so many different avenues, from your network marketing business to your coaching and nutrition business. What you guys are doing is bringing such value to the space. And I'm just honored to be just, considering myself partnered with you guys. And so I appreciate you, and hope that everyone has a beautiful, healthy, safe, and happy weekend.
Awesome. Well, Taylor, thank you so much. I know you got to roll because you got that call with Australia, but how do I even close out after that, man? We love you, brother. We thank you for everything that you did and tribing up with us tonight. And I just needed to hear this, because you follow up with that person, you're pouring value in 6-7 months, and you're like, they're ghosting you. But you know what? You don't know what state they're in. You don't know what your messages they're doing to uplift their mood, even though they might not be responding. And I've seen it happen. And I know there's been people on this Zoom that have seen it happen. So that is now, that's exactly it. We don't want to follow up with people because we have an expectation that, hey, if I follow up 10 times, then they're going to say yes on the 11th or 12th. No, it's not about that. It's, you know what, this person, this message today of positivity could change the trajectory of their day today. Win. Okay. And if I send them messages for the next 10 months and it's going to be a win because I'm breathing positivity into them, then that's 10 months of win. So a lot of times we think of wins in business maybe the wrong way, right? If you're helping another human being, that's a win. And then yes, after 10 months, 2 years, whatever it is, they come back and they say, you know what, let's rock and roll. Great. Another form of win. But you're almost like, hey, I just had 10 months of wins in messaging you, and you'll have clients that will tell you that. You guys will have leads that will tell you that, hey, thanks for not giving up on me. Like Taylor said, he had the aunt who's just like the model aunt, and nobody except him was saying, hey, you are amazing. We just kind of take for granted, oh, that person, they're ripped, they look great, that person's successful, they must be told this all the time. Well, you know what? It's lonely at the top. So people need us to breathe that value into and breathe that hope. That's kind of what we are at the end of the day, is we're dealing hope for people, hope in themselves and belief in themselves. So, hey, thank you guys, everyone. Amazing. And I'm ready. What a way to start the weekend. What a way to start the weekend. I literally want to start messaging people right now. So you guys all have an amazing rest of your night. Thank you for spending your time with us. Taylor, thank you for coming in. And I look forward to seeing y'all next Friday. We'll be doing something else just like this. And team, have a great and blessed rest of your weekend.